Coaches, this massive good afternoon. Hoping everybody doing okay. Hoping everybody doing all right. Yes, man, we're here today. And of course, we're here to talk sports like we normally do. Yeah, man, big up to the viewers out there. All the persons who have always been tuning into the coach's desk. Thanks for the support and also the comments that you have been making even on some of the posts that are not live stream. So we're here today. We're hope to have a shortened version of the program today. Yeah, we see people coming in, and just want to remind you, when you enter, please share the live, like up the live. Understand? Yes, and welcome to Bravo. Yeah, man, Bravo in our house. Big up yourself, Bravo. So we're here again another time. Yeah, man. Gonna be talking sports. And as the headline says, no contract for Khadijah Shaw. Yeah, we'll be talking a little bit about that. And of course, we'll be delving into other sports. Yeah, big weekend of football. Just finished watching some games. And some interesting results for the weekend. Yes, man. Interesting results for the weekend. Yeah, man. Some teams, some high-flying teams, defending champions, and what looks like the champions elect. Manchester City, they destroyed Tottenham Hotspurs. Are they still hot? I'm not certain, but they were destroyed by Manchester City. Red Bull 876 say he has always been listening to the program. Of course. Thank you, Red Bull 876. Big up yourself. We appreciate you stopping by to show us some support over here. And I mean, spread the word. Yeah, man, like the live, share the live. We know that some persons are supposed to be coming on later on. Yes. All right, so just some results today. Leicester City versus Liverpool, defending champions. And Leicester were sitting like just above Liverpool. And the result ended in Leicester City 3, Liverpool 1, after leading 1-0 after 70 plus minutes. Some bizarre defending by Alisson and the Newman Kabak again caused them to lose that game, many would say. God bless you. Big up yourself. Amazing goal. Big up yourself. Next game, we had Crystal Palace versus Burnley. And some persons might be wondering what is happening with Crystal Palace, because they were doing so well in the earlier section of the season. And somehow they have been on a slump. And they were beaten by Burnley 3-0. And the hot game, Manchester City, the champions elect, leading the table by now 7 points, still having a game in hand. They went up against former leaders. Former leaders in Tottenham Hotspurs, when Harry Kane and Son, they were scoring. And now they were obliterated by the champions elect Manchester City with some scintillating football, slick passes. They defended well because when Spurs catch them on the counter, they were actually back in position as quickly as possible. And, they didn't give up a goal. Of course, you had Harry Kane hitting the bar and so forth. But, you have to give it to Manchester City. They are playing some beautiful football. Goodonian or whatever the pronunciation is. I'm not going to get into that. This is not an English class. But he has been he has just been doing extremely well in the middle of the park for Manchester City, and he has been scoring goals, barring that penalty that he missed. Trust me, that the player has been having an outstanding few games for Manchester City. Gundogan, whatever the pronunciation is, yes. So I think Manchester City, with the lead that they have, it's going to be very difficult to catch them back. Very difficult to catch them back. Very, very difficult. They are playing excellent football. I'm thinking that this might be the year. They are in the FA. They are in the Premier League title run. They are in the Champions League round of 16. Trust me. They're just everywhere. Everywhere you turn, you see Man City. And just to give a little update on the game in terms of possession, 60% of the possession they had in that game. They made like a total of 690 odd passes. Can you believe it? Yeah, man. They had a scintillating game. The passing accuracy was 90%. 90%. So out of the 691 passes that they made, they would have completed 627 of those. So City doing pretty well. City is sitting pretty. Yeah, man. Can't take anything away from them. I think Pep Guardiola has stamped his class again. He would have allowed his team to peak at the right time, at the right moment. And that's where when you know how big of a coach you are. You know what I mean? So big up to Pep Guardiola for doing what he is doing with this Tottenham team. All right. So persons who wants to join the live, yes, all right, so we paste the link in the comment section. You can just click on the link and come on over while we have a little talk. All right, so yeah, we're just giving persons some time to log on. That's why we're buying time talking about the Premier League. And let us look into what is happening there in the game there over in Bangladesh. Yes, to see what is happening where the Windies are concerned. Big up yourself, Rome. Welcome.
Boy.
Fourth official boss is in the place. He's in the building. So, West Indies, they would have made 409 in their first innings. They bowled Bangladesh out for 296. And West Indies will always be West Indies because they are struggling at 41 for 3. Well, let's hope that they can put things together. They are leading by 154 runs with 7 wickets to go. So just hope that they can put things together so that they would be able to, make something out of this game, because already they can't lose the series. Yeah, man, I don't know. We have to give an update on that. What is happening there in Bangladesh? There are a lot of more cricket games that are playing, but we're just touching on the West Indies. Rome, what's up, man?
Yeah, I remember that. Watch a whole day there. I watch football, man.
You see it.
Yeah, I watch football all day.
Running from training early, I'm tell us I'm come just kick back and watch some football. So,
Man.
what are your thoughts on the game? I just gave a roundup of the scores. What are your thoughts on the games?
Ah, that Leicester game, Leicester Liverpool. Um, Honestly, I was very happy about that game with Liverpool losing because um, it's Liverpool in it. Like as a Manchester United fan, you never want to see Liverpool win, and their man just capitulated after they conceded that first goal. It's like they were never. You can tell that they were never going to recover from Leicester equalizing. And I've said it before. It's like Liverpool seem to have lost everything in terms of creativity moving forward, bro. You don't see anything in front of goal. I don't think the commentator called Salah Mane name like more than 5 times this game, bro.
And
And if you
and, and
remember last year and the year
in
before,
recent past, yeah,
yeah,
it's all the front
it's
three.
exactly. And they just look void of confidence and void of any sort of you know, creativity. And as I keep on saying this, bro, as the mind goes, the body goes, bro, and vice versa. Because if you think about it, Liverpool, I say it all the time, bro, them man just keep running for the past 3 or 4 years. And now that is catching up on them. These man cannot create anything, and they just look like they can't play football. And it's the same players, bro. It's not like they brought on a totally different team and they're struggling to find their identity. It's the same players, and they just can't create anything. And you have to blame Klopp on that because this one way of playing, this one track mind, they don't like tunnel vision. You know when you watch race horse and then put the thing them on the race horse so they can
The
only see forward.
blinders.
Yeah, at them that
Mm.
bro, they can't play no other football. So they deserve everything with them get. I'm happy for Leicester. I know we know as it's gonna be very difficult for Leicester keep up and maintain throughout the rest of the season. So Man City look like them running away with it. And
Yeah,
it just a matter of time before this is just a matter of time before we see if Manchester United can actually keep up and put some pressure on them. I mean, they're bound to go to a rough patch eventually. It's just we need to be there in and around there. And with regards to Mourinho, and you know me talk about this earlier in the year too, this park the bus mentality, not gonna get them too far. And Tottenham just look like crap. It's just painful for watch them on them, bro. It's very painful to watch them. And in my opinion, if Harry Kane stay the next year, then there's no way we can rate him as one of the greatest strikers in the world. You understand? Because you play
yeah.
for Spurs and you get so much accolades, personal accolades in terms of goal scoring. Everybody can see him. Just like to be another Alan Shearer, bro. You see me?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody the business about Alan Shearer at this point. He was probably one of the greatest goal scorers, yes. But guess what? He never really do nothing. Because he no win nothing. In there Newcastle and the rest of them no win nothing. Rooney, I go down in history as one of the best English strikers in the world because he only win everything there is to win. You understand? And if
Sure, sure.
Harry Kane don't move this season, if I go down as one of the just another striker, bro. If him go Man City, he probably gonna give up. Because if Man City are already above the three right now, if him get Harry Kane, I hate that.
Yeah, definitely,
Tell you right
definitely.
now.
But you're talking about the part the bus mentality. So one of our um, yeah, talking about the part the bus mentality. I mean, um, we call him. I call him the bus driver. I call him the bus driver because right now. And right now the bus is at a garage right now.
And we
Man
used to
City
go through
sent
it,
the
you
bus
know.
at a garage.
We used to go through it, you know, when we
Yeah,
are play
yeah.
when Mourinho was coaching us, you know. And if you remember, man did have Martial and having Martial playing him, bringing Lukaku first in bringing Zlatan and then Lukaku. Him just want to play a target man up front, a big man up
Yeah,
front, and
yeah.
people just sit behind them and pray to God say something break, and then they get a one goal and then I that, right? And that's exactly how him have Tottenham playing. Him have Tottenham playing like how we used to play when we play Colts at Jamaica, dog. Kick a ball, bypassing midfield altogether. Just kick it over the top and hope say striker, which are your best player, can beat one or two man and score. You understand what I say? And that the kind of football Mourinho playing in and they're Tottenham, and it's kind of sad. If fans are there at the stadium right now, he probably
They would
wouldn't
have
have a
boo
job
him.
right now. They would have kick him
Yeah,
out long
yeah.
time, man. Nah, kick him out long time, bro.
All right, so amazing goal. Welcome to the show. What say you?
You're muted, bro.
Tactics fail again. Against Man City, tactics fail again, and it wasn't. They didn't went in a game plan to try and um help try to defeat Man City. Man City came to get the 3 points. Tottenham was more trying to defend, and they weren't ready for the match overall. They're lacking intensity in the game, and overall City dominate the midfield and both the forward.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I agree with you. I agree with you. So
Tottenham wasn't playing at all. Amazing goal. The man never come to play, bro.
yeah,
Never.
as we say, him carry the bus got a garage and just park it up
Yeah, man.
and expect say him all get it to drive out. But I mean that's Mourinho.
Yeah, that's
So
Mourinho. That's Mourinho.
so Rome, fourth official. Talking about that. What are your thoughts? Well, you shared. What are your thoughts on Crystal Palace? Because they seem to have a pretty decent start to the season, but now they are slowly vanishing.
So, yo, Crystal Palace get beaten by Burnley. Burnley, bro. 3-0. Crystal Palace get beaten by Burnley 3-0. Them call Burnley Brexit FC because a big Englishman upon Burnley team. You understand? Burnley just have one set of tactics and yet still them man still get beaten. And you wanna know why? Crystal Palace rely too much on individuality, bro. You understand? Crystal Palace, there's nothing tactical about the way Crystal Palace plays. Crystal Palace just depend on Zaha, Easy, and Benteke to some extent to create stuff for them and have magic moments in the games, right? Which is why every other game, yeah, just Crystal Palace get found out left, right, and center. It's not because Crystal Palace, I don't think, is a Premier League club at the moment. And then coach definitely not ready for it. And coach needs to go sit on the man need to retire. I'm almost 80 years old. Right? The tactics for MI imply really don't make sense. It's just depending too much on individual talents. Yeah, they've got Zaha and them have a little name easy. But because them depend so much on individuality, them not really put any focus on different tactics. You approach a team like Burnley. A team like Burnley was strong in the year. Burnley pass the ball with them head more accurate than them pass the ball with them foot, bro. That's how them man play the ball in the air. Them do it on a regular basis. You
Yeah.
understand what I say? And
Mm-hmm.
you have to approach
To
those
give
type
a
of
point.
games as a mid-table club. You have to approach them type of game with different tactics. You can't approach every game with the same thing. Get the ball to Easy and pray to God to something out.
True. Yeah, you're saying amazing goal.
Oh, with the Burnley and Crystal Palace match. From recent matches, you see Burnley showing up against the big team, and for instance, Liverpool match, you see Burnley showing up strong in defense. Physicality, they are very good on the pitch, and when you see those results, you have to wonder and see the result today, 3-0 in favor of Burnley. It's not surprising. It's not surprising. Something that we know Burnley can do and we can deliver at any time because they show it against the big team.
All right. Now let us switch lanes a little bit or switch leagues. Khadijah Shaw, one of the darlings of female football in Jamaica. Yeah, man. Star. Very good footballer. Very good striker. Overall, she's just an all-round player, right? And she's in the last year of her contract with Bordeaux. And there have been no talks of her extending her contract or signing a new deal. I mean, other players have signed or extended their contract, and nothing from Khadijah Shaw. Fourth official, you think that she's holding out to get a big deal because you have the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, and of course Manchester United are paying close attention to what is happening with Khadijah. What say you?
Yeah, I'm reluctant to say that she's holding out because, as you know, when it comes to professional athletes, security and getting a contract sorted out is always the main and most important thing when it comes to your security, right? Because your mind off the field is more as important as your mind on the field. And if you're worried about contract situations that off the field, then it get trickle over on the field as well. She and her agent might they must know what's going on and you know behind closed doors in the offices, right? They know what offers they might have. They know why. If we don't know if Bordeaux offer her a contract yet either, right? We don't know if they offer her a contract extension. We don't know if
Right,
Bordeaux still wants her. We don't know for sure what other clubs might be involved in negotiating a contract for her. But if you think about it, if the situation is she has multiple offers from other clubs, you mentioned Manchester United or other clubs in Europe that might want her to play for them, then it's in her best interest not to sign a contract with Bordeaux and not even extend a contract right now. Because if she goes into the market as a free agent with multiple people offering her, that means
Mm-hmm.
she's getting a signing on bonus, and that will be huge for her. Not like for instance, if Manchester United go for her as a free agent, Manchester United won't be paying Bordeaux anything. They just give her a sign on bonus, and a sign on bonus that $2-3 million. I'll pocket that. You understand? No, she needs to identify and move fast because with the new rules of England and Brexit and everything, she have to get visa. She have to make sure say she have certain permits and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
anything that needs to be done has to be done quickly. But at the end of the day, if she has an offer on the table from Bordeaux and she has not accepted it yet, either them not offer enough money or she have multiple offers outside of Bordeaux that she can work with. You understand? That's my opinion.
Yeah. And like you said, the whole Brexit thing or Brexit or whatever the name is,
Yeah.
that might come into play. So, but I mean, her agent possibly know what is transpiring,
And if he
and
doesn't, he deserves a shot.
right, and I do believe that she's getting the best advice that could be given to a professional footballer, whether male or female. So I'm not really worried about Khadijah Shaw right now, but she's just an excellent talent, and with how she plays, trust me, super talent. And we just wish her all the best in her future. Wherever she goes, I do believe that she will be doing her best. She will be as professional as she can be, scoring goals, whether she goes up against Bordeaux again or whichever club, or if she remains at Bordeaux, she's still gonna give her 100%. So we just wish Khadijah the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is that. So yesterday, Rome, we were on this whole discussion of development of football in Jamaica and what is really causing the whole backlog, talent not being exported as we would like it to happen. There's no development at the grassroots level. Too much pressure is placed on the schoolboy football season, and that is just a short window for the players to be playing. So we just want to throw out some stuff to to see if we can get some insight as what can be done to improve Jamaica's football from the grassroots level, because you have some talent in the country now, a whole lot of talent. We're not saying there are some raw talent in the country. They're even possibly better than some that are playing on the international scene in the top leagues in the world right now. How can we do better in terms of getting these players ready for international competition or international
Um,
top clubs?
First of all, the schoolboy season is a short window. It's around 3 months in the schoolboy season. And after the
We're
schoolboy
not hearing
season,
you. We're not hearing you.
you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I was saying the schoolboy window is 3 month window is a bit small for the talent to develop even more. So for what Jamaican should do, and the teams in the Premier League should do is let the schoolboys, the age range 15 to 18, to be playing in the Premier League for more development, more senior development of the youth, and that can help them in developing to go outside of the region. And that's one of the main point I will give for the Jamaican Premier League teams try in helping the youth by promoting by helping them from the age range of 16 to 18, try and put them in big league, Premier League and Super League, those leagues that can help their development rather than leaving them after the school season is over.
So here's what I think, and I think we have to. This might be something somewhat of a pipe dream, and resources that dependent, but I think we should focus on a parish to parish level in terms of development. Like I know for me personally, growing up in St. Andrew and the Hills of Parks Road, when after start playing calls and Manning Cup, they wanted me to go play for Constant Spring, which it wasn't too far, but financially never have the money for go Constant Spring to go play. Then Medieval wanted me to come play. My mother couldn't get me go over Medieval now almost every other evening to go train because of financial constraints as well. To focus on other things. Understand? So we have to have a parish to parish development where not only certain parishes have all of the footballing resources in the country, right? When you look on parishes like St. Andrew, St. Catherine flourished full of different locations at different places where you can go play ball. Mobile the same thing, right? But other parishes, right? Kingston full of places you can go play ball, right? But when you look on Clarendon, last I checked, the only thing you know about Clarendon and the school and way down there. And there's other places across the country where we can focus resources and not only have schools that are playing well, but different smaller local clubs with different fields that you can develop your talents. So by the time they hit young adult age 17, 18, they're not necessarily traveling across 2, 3 parishes just to go play for the club just because they want some footballing exposure, because football is playing here already. You understand? A parish league here that can help you develop or help clubs move from this parish league to the national league. You understand? We don't have enough developmental leagues in the country.
Yeah. So
That's the essence of my problem.
what about at the grassroots level, dude? Well, I don't think there are a lot of academies or grassroots type of football being played, or the coaches that are how do I put this? The coaches that are qualified,
Yeah, but we
they
can't.
aren't the ones that are in the grassroots doing the teaching. So oftentimes the youngsters reach U15, U16. They have to be relearning some of the stuff that they were taught, because what they were taught were flawed skills.
Yeah, but
You know what I mean?
when you look on it from that perspective in terms of grassroots, for you to have a grassroots movement, you need the grassroots facilities, yeah. So
True.
for a man like me and you, graduate GC, go back to your local community and coach at your high school, But after you coach at high school, leave from this and you got your yard. That same coach could go to a local club and be coaching at that same local club. And then before you know it, 7-year-old, 10-year-old, 15-year-olds, before they even get into high school, they're already exposed to football and not just playing lunch slime and a kick up and box around the park, run the school park, you understand? But necessarily going to a club. Your parents follow you at evening time and you go to the club and you meet the same coach you probably book up and you go to the same community high school, right? And so you build grassroots relationships, so you build grassroots football. And that's what's going on across the world, bro. Like, you can look at the model that England have right now, where Marcus Rashford, Dean Henderson, all of them man they got the Manchester United Academy and then got the local school, and from there so them go training, right? And in order for you to be a part of the academy, you have to maintain certain grades and then grow up together as young ballers and then develop themselves and them have careers in a football, which you might not find yourself excelling in chemistry or biology, but you're wonderful on the football field. They still have to maintain your grades in order to maintain yourself at the local club academy, right? And it not necessarily have to be a big club that paying you a crap ton of money. But think about this. Think about the ratio. If out of every parish, every 4 years or every 3 years, you have 1 to 2 phenomenal young ballers coming out of every parish, how much more young talents would we have breeding football? That's what's going on in England now, bro. Other parts of the country. Brazil now flushed with great ballers, But out of every locality in Brazil, you have 1 or 2 generals coming out of it. And then, boom, before you know it, you have 25 to 50 ballers spread across the world. And you put them in a squad, and then all of a sudden, Brazil have the best squad in the world.
Yeah.
So I think that's how you build. I think that's how you build the grassroots football. Not a small country like Jamaica, that's definitely manageable. It's just just the investment and the know-how.
Yeah, as you rightfully said, the infrastructure is not there as well, because when you look at the pitches, we don't have good pitches because it's and it's all because of money,
Yeah.
The funding is not there, because when you look at, say for example, a Harborview club, they train on the same field like what they play on, and when that is done, a lot of maintenance have to be put into that, Field have to be watering and all of that. While if you have just a match pitch and you have a training pitch that has the same quality,
exactly,
then you'd get more in terms of quality plays as well as quality ballers, because we learn it the rough way.
Yeah.
We play upon asphalt, we play upon stone field, just because of the love of the game. You know what I mean? And we no academy never close to us, no little community squad and all of them things. So every youth grow up different, but I mean, if all these facilities are in place and the amount of talents that we have, even though you have a lot of persons coming up with academies and they are going around seeking talents, but that is one. When you don't have the proper surfaces to play on or to train these youngsters on, the proper feeding program, the nutrition is very important, and all of that, it's gonna be a difficult task to get. All we are doing in Jamaica now is improvising football,
Yeah, man.
We are miles behind,
Without a doubt, man. There's no catching up. Other cut of regions or countries have it way better and have their program set up way much better than we. You understand? Which we're just basically we're just trying to fit square pegs in round holes, bro.
Yeah.
And hopefully it work. Our football program is not too far from our bobsled program. It feels as if we just did something one time and it worked out well in 1998. And we say, you know what, let's just try doing this again.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we are the players, We are the players to qualify for the World Cup,
Yeah.
But something was amiss. Every single time World Cup qualifying comes about, Jamaica has the team to qualify. post 1998. No
Real
doubt
talk.
about that. We
Real
have the
talk.
team to qualify, but what seemed to be the problem? I
It
know
come
many
down.
persons would
It come
say,
down to. It come down to management, man. It come down to a
mm-hmm,
bunch of different stuff, but management, not just from the football level, not just from the on-field management, but from upper management. We've been talking about JFF for the past 2 months,
yeah,
right? But them have a lot to do with it. Them have a whole lot to do with it. Stemming from getting support behind the team to get to supporting the team itself. You
mm-hmm,
understand? So it comes on from all the way up top and from captain dropout, even before captain dropout. It's like the program just never reached the heights of 1998. And I feel like we qualify in a 98 on the back of a major Reggae Boys hype, right? A hype train that we never really stay on after that World Cup.
mm-hmm.
Yes, and we were lucky enough to have a group of boys that were just deadly talented. We just never continued that train. The hype train died after the World Cup, and then that was it, bro. That was it. After that, after those last two Whitmore goal in our World Cup, we just jump off of the train, and that was it.
Yeah, for real. And there are many factors, many underlying factors, many variables.
Yeah,
Um, and possibly if we go through and try to sift, we can find more more issues than solution issues.
yeah,
And but I've always said this. You see, the administrators, they are getting the information from the wrong source.
mm,
What they should do is to ensure that the people that are on the ground, those are the ones that they should be getting information from. Understand? Because you can't have somebody in football don't know anything about football or don't have the passion for football. You
yeah.
were
We
running
need
a parish association. We didn't see anything extraordinary happening in that parish where football is concerned. And then you come to the elm, the biggest thing, and our expectation is great. That can't be. Get some industry persons, football persons, past players, get those persons on board to assist the movement with some qualified persons in some key areas. Hey, sometimes we as Jamaicans want help and we not say it,
exactly,
Want to help and we not say it,
exactly.
Because what?
We love big,
We
but we
have a
not
big
beg the right
ego.
things, bro.
Yeah, we ego weird on our shoulder, so we don't want nobody crush it. And
Yeah,
it's simple. If you get a collective effort, from the whole football fraternity, even though you have not everybody are go with you, But I mean, if I get the majority, then you can do a big thing, a big movement. Look when Rene Simons was here. That man get everybody on board, corporate, everybody on board to ensure that this thing move till the national stadium now become the office. You can't come there and win no game because
exactly.
our crowd now become hostile. We go on bad and we ensure that we influence our players. And if our next side we get boo, then get boo. But I mean, it needs more than just a few persons in the office trying to run this thing. It's a collective effort, and
Need
until they see sports as also a big business, it now going away because some man thinks that sports are just some local intellectually deprived persons just take up something. You know what I mean? So definitely something we can work with, but again, the man them who want the help and then now seek the help.
yeah,
You know
man.
much
We
innovation
love beg,
out
but we
there,
don't know if we
brethren.
beg for brother.
You know much innovation out there. No much youths out there who study sports management, who were involved in sports before. You can't find a few of them and even give them some internship work in the office, so them can you can actually get some ideas from these youngsters that can assist you in moving. You might not keep them, but I mean, ideas are gonna come. The use them with the fresh minds, because you're gonna need the experience in a room, but at the same time, you're gonna need some fresh thoughts.
Well, brother, what I'm saying is, what's the point or what's the rationale behind having non-football personnel making footballing decisions? That don't make sense. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? You bring a man who never play football in life and go, you take a you and get 1 or 2 business degree and then I run the business because it's the federation supposed to be a business, right? Well, that's not necessarily how it should be run. Yes, you should have people who are making business decisions, but those people
Yeah,
should not
man.
be the ones making footballing decisions. That's one of the
Mm-hmm.
things. That's one of the reasons why Manchester United has suffered so much after Sir Alex Ferguson, because they have
Mm-hmm.
man like Ed Woodward and Matt Judge at the club, where they man they all go to Cambridge and know about accounting, they man the accountant that. They man
Mm-hmm.
they're not footballers. You understand? If you look on clubs like Ajax, how well run Ajax is run right now, that's because Ajax have as a CEO, a former player, and a former legend from Manchester United. Our
Van der
footballers are
Sar.
making decisions. If you look on
Mm-hmm.
Juventus, the reason why Juventus are run the whole of Italy for so long, is because Juventus have footballers making footballing decisions at the club. Pavel Nedved are run off Juventus right now, and then former player, a coach right now. You understand what I
Mm-hmm.
say? And
Yeah, yeah.
we all know as young ballers growing up, we all know the bland, short midfielder named Pavel Nedved was one of the wickedest things to come out of Czech Republic, You understand what I say? And them man they run off the club now. We as a federation moving forward, not only to motivate the team, not only for investing in the team, you need footballing people making footballing decisions within the federation. So that conversation with them have with the captain the other day about payment, that conversation would never need it to be had, because it's a footballing person having a conversation with the players and knowing their needs and knowing, so we need to make better decisions to make sure this not come up. Because if the players them concentrate on the game and not worry about money, them good.
Yeah, for real. Welcome, Coach Jeremy and Thomas to the show.
Yeah, man.
Big
Go
up
on.
yourself.
Yeah, man. Big up.
Yeah, let's see what the headline, coach. You're talking about Khadijah and football, of course, but no contract for her as yet. So we were basically discussing that we don't know what is happening, because she is not, well, other players in the club. I think a player signed an extension today. We have not heard anything about her. It is the last year of her contract. Will she leave as a free agent? Will her contract be extended? What are the possibilities of her re-signing to board and all of that? What are your thoughts on that?
Um, I honestly don't think Khadijah will be there next year. There have been stories, there have been rumors going around that she will be moving. Uh, but straight off the bat, I don't think she'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she'll be there. Probably she's one of the most sought after players as it relates to female now.
Mm-hmm.
She's really hot. She is in demand. Several clubs across Europe have been showing interest. So it's only a matter of time. Only a matter of time. And a club like Bordeaux would not be very hasty in getting rid of Khadija off their books.
Mm-hmm.
They will be trying, of course, to hold, probably to extend contract, probably to re-sign. Because nobody would want at this time probably a striker like Khadija to
Mm-hmm.
um to meet their club, But she won't be around from probably for much longer. In fact, I can pretty much say that she won't be around.
Right, and some big name clubs like United, Chelsea, and Arsenal,
Yes,
they
man.
they are interested in getting her over
Yeah,
there.
man. She's going to land something big. Based on her performance last season, goal.
Yes.
Um, I don't see anything stopping her. She's powerfully built, very very explosive, uses both legs well, powerful in the air. as well. Good ball handler, hold up the ball well. I mean, the Europeans are crazy when it comes on to technical ability.
Yeah,
Like,
those qualities. Yeah, man.
yeah, man, tactically, she's so aware. She's a master of the game tactically. So and she still have a far way to go. So for Khadijah, the sky is the limit. But soon and very soon, I think the world will be hearing about something massive for her as it relates to moving.
And one thing also, coach, I also believe that she is a player that can play in any position on the field
Well,
because of
Khadijah,
her qualities.
yeah, man, even from high school,
Yes.
playing right. We used to watch her play interform at St. Jago with the boys, and she was in charge of her class. She would normally pick her team, decide who play when, who come off at this time, all of them stuff, and she would. There are instances when they'll be leading probably like 1-0 or 2-1, couple minutes to go. She'd become the center back.
Mm-hmm.
I I remember when
The final, and she went in the goal and
right,
saved.
they
Yeah,
were playing
man.
Excelsior, and they came back from a goal down, and then I think they went what 2-2 or something like that.
Yeah, and go
Went to
penalty.
penalty,
Yeah.
and she went inside the goal. So she is a tough cookie, very very solid mentally, not only physically, So I'm just thinking that for her, as I said before, the sky is going to be the limit. Because this girl is still young. This girl is still what 23.
Mm-hmm.
Thereabout, yeah, this girl is still young.
I'm just
So,
looking. I just went out and look at that stats just now, bro. And she played 13 games this season. I have 17 goals and 3 assists. So
That's
I
mad.
mean, I mean, there's
yeah,
no way other teams across the whole of Europe I look for her right now. And the
yeah,
female
man,
game
that's
is stepping up
crazy.
big time too. So I can anticipate her having a whole heap of offers, which is probably why she's signed with Bordeaux yet.
Loads, loads,
Yeah,
loads.
yeah.
She's
Yeah,
a
man.
monster, believe me.
Yeah, man. And one other thing we threw out, coach, is how can the sport be developed in Jamaica, the football thing. We have the bad field, we don't have any money, no funding and all of that. How can the sport be developed from the grassroots? Is it a case where the youngsters are being taught the incorrect techniques from coaches that are not qualified?
As it relates to that, there are just several factors, a host of factors. And if you should go to more advanced, developed countries in football and take their model and look at their model, we are nowhere near them as it relates to what we're doing. We concentrate on winning in Jamaica so much, that at times winning is important. Don't get me wrong. You need to teach your kids to win. All right, but sometimes the mere fact that you want to win a game so bad as coaches, we tend to, from an early age, focus on that and not the fundamentals of the game, teaching the fundamentals of the game, allowing kids to have fun while learning the fundamentals. So between ages of probably 6 to 10, in Jamaica, we seriously focus on winning more than anything else instead of developing the kids' technical ability from early, teaching them basic techniques. That is just one of the factors I think. Again, we mentioned resources as it relates to fields, as it relates to proper nutrition program, human resources, competent persons to impart knowledge and teach and develop these youngsters. You know, there's a huge gap between in Jamaica for between high school footballers and professional footballers. So when a boy would have graduated from high school, it's like there is a huge gap between them and a Premier League team. So in
Yeah, man.
Jamaica, we do things backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Um, our 20-year-olds and 19-year-olds are playing Manning Cup and Dakasa Cup. I would have just finished playing. In Europe, you'd have seen it was Aston Villa had some COVID issues recently, and their average age I played against, I think it was Liverpool or Man City, was 18. They
Mm-hmm.
they had couple of 16 and 17-year-old playing on that pitch. No, this is at the highest level in the world, basically. But in Jamaica, a couple years ago, we had I'm not sure if you guys are old enough to remember the under 21 setup we had in Jamaica. But our 18 and 19-year-olds were playing under 21s, and then our 29 and 28 were playing the Premier League. No, you cannot go into Europe on a contract at 24. You cannot.
Coach, you behave like you're born in the 60s, you know.
No. We cannot expose no talent at 28. So why not expose our youngster to the highest level? I can bet you, apart from probably Cavaliers locally, they would have shown some interest as it relates to getting youngsters out there. Would have seen Harborview
Mount
over the
Pleasant
weekend,
too.
Mount Pleasant as well, but not necessarily at the Premier League level for Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, man, I see them. I've seen
A 15-year-old, they
Yeah,
expose a
man.
15.
And,
But I'm making reference to clubs who would have used more than 5 or 6.
okay. I get what you're
We
saying.
are seeing that. But if you check most of our clubs in Jamaica, we are using people at 28, 29, 31, 32, 36. I was watching the game that Waterhouse played against the Asian team. A player came on the park and the player was about 35.
Yeah, all the room can come turn some leather for one of them club.
Yeah, might as well.
35, and we had what? We had youngsters on the bench. The
Yeah.
youngster that came on and make that telling run and that telling pass just left Excelsior, Beadle, or just left Excelsior. He was on the bench, and the 35-year-old came on over that player. No, if we're doing those things and going in that direction, we're asking for trouble. And our football will never ever move because our players will be by time. All right, when you finish exposing a youth, all right, they're not ready yet. So under 21. Under 21, a youth at 19, sitting out a year at 18, waiting to play the Casa Cup next year. How do you explain that? So it is totally inconsistent to what is going on with the rest of the world. Is our focus geared towards winning a Manning Cup or a Dakar Cup
Of course it is. These coaches will tell you that they are paid.
to win?
They are paid to win
But
that.
nationally, what is this doing for us nationally? How is this helping us? How
Well,
many of those players?
the coach will have many accolades, or his resume, CV would be very packed or stocked. You know what I mean?
But in Europe, and in some other places in the world, this is not so. Yeah, I forgot so. No, you have to go so. In Europe and other parts of the world, it is not so. So until we quickly sort out some of these issues, I mean, we are going to have a problem with our football. I think we need some new ideas, new personnels who have zest and enthusiasm and know-how as well as it relates to developing and moving our football, because it will not move like this.
And we're also mentioning persons who are in the power or are leading the administrator. I don't know, and I could be wrong, but do these personnels actually seek help from past players, experienced sports administrators, and so forth, to get assistance how to actually go about doing their job?
Before we even go to seeking past players,
Yeah, man, go ahead.
one second.
It's like some of the man them sitting in the chat. They say Veran Peter King facing reality and Jordan here. I'm just back in the chat. Let's open himself here.
Yeah, Rome. Big up to facing reality and Veron Peter Kid.
Yeah, man, Kevin. So I was saying earlier that several things. As it relates to getting past players, we must fix home first. We must fix in-house first before we attempt to get anybody else. Because guess what? If you bring Klopp or Pep or any one of those top coaches to Jamaica now, they are
No,
going to have
probably you
the
misinterpreted, coach.
oh
I'm basically saying the administrators, they should seek assistance, not for somebody outside to come and run the JFF. But they might go on courses that is getting assistance. They might
oh
yes, they might seek help from a past player who would have had experience playing in Europe. How do they do this in Europe and so forth to get some knowledge? You can network to ensure that things change and you bring a new zest and new life to whatever is happening now. That's the
you
point
know
I'm making.
my contribution to that. Why not just get qualified professionals in some of these positions and then seek help? We need expertise, we need professionals in these areas. And probably that is one of our biggest challenge, our biggest problem we have.
I agree with your coach, but why I mention that is because of what we have now. It's a state that we're in now, These persons, I don't believe that they are qualified. So are they reaching out to anyone for help?
Yeah, man, all right. You would have seen where, if you remember, Dave Cameron, he was the last West Indies president before Ricky Skerritt. He's now a part of the negotiating team. And Chris, what's his last name again? Chris, who is a popular and well established businessman in Jamaica. He's now heading
That's
the,
Chris
the
Daring.
not daring, not daring. Some other Chris, I don't remember, but he's well known as it relates to business in Jamaica. He's now heading the Premier League Association. They would have changed the name,
Oh,
but
Chris
he's now
Williams.
right. He's now heading that, and he has been pulling up a whole heap of support for the program. They have amassed over several millions of dollars already, and no league is playing. So cut them some slacks, yes, but they have been making efforts to try to get themselves organized. What we are seeing now, what we are seeing now is not just last year or the year before it started. We would have been having issues from years ago,
Yeah, man.
and we are just basically reaping what was sown. In short, if I may say that,
Yeah, yeah.
it's going to take time to fix. Some of the things I just don't understand. Um, Oftentimes we say we need youth and we need this and we need that. And some of these positions are held by somebody, and I don't want to offend anybody when I say this. So probably I better not say it. Some of these positions are held by some
Just just
serious
just
serious.
remember, people, the views expressed by our panelists and our viewers in the comment section are not necessarily those of coaches' desk. So you can go ahead and speak.
Yeah, but I think we have need to get fresh blood with new ideas, new thinking, get groups of people on board. Let's say you have a marketing manager at JFF. Can we find um, 4 or 5 top young, brilliant, brilliant-minded students from our tertiary institutions to come on board and help marketing? If we have two physiotherapists,
You,
can
you
we
were
go down by?
listening. You're listening with the conversation me and Rome were having before because those are some of the same points that we made in
Oh, oh
terms of
well.
assistance.
I wasn't listening, but I think great minds think
Yeah,
alike.
think alike. Go ahead.
Right, but if we could get you will have as it relates to physiotherapists, a school there for that. Several students, past and present, are in and around Jamaica. Could we set up something with you to say, all right, have your students work with our under 17, under 15 teams as a part of their internship? Probably they could be supervised by the physiotherapist that is employed to the JFF. Look at other areas as it relates to finances and I mean coaching GC Fossa is there, UTech is there as well, Micah is there as well, and you have several other institutions that I think could add value if these individuals look into themselves and just admit the fact that hey, we need help and we need to get people on board.
Certainly, certainly, coach. All right, facing reality says that not enough is invested all around in the grassroots level of football, and the transition for most of the talented players are almost non-existent. What do you say about that?
So not enough resources are invested in the grassroots, right? Transition from most of the Guess what? Guess what? That's a fact, and you can't even go around that. And as I said yesterday on the program, that check again because each time we make, I always want to compare and look at other countries at times. How many academies, solid academies we have in Jamaica? Are we getting money from the Ministry of Sports to say, all right, invest this or that amount in development? What are some of the qualifications that we have at the primary school level? Is it that some people just put on a shirt and say, boy, I am coach and make up nice on the sideline? How many times you would have seen a youngster using the incorrect technique to pass or to kick a shot or something like that? So as it relates to competence at that level, coaching wise, there are issues. Surfaces to play on,
Mm-hmm.
problem again. How many times would you have seen kids playing without the proper footwear?
Yeah.
So we're short on equipment. We're short on fields. We're short on human resources as it relates to competencies of persons to impart the requisite knowledge to these kids.
Yeah,
So
because
it's a
even if you have a top qualified trained coach in the primary system, after a few years, he's not gonna want to stick around and stay in a primary school level. He will want to showcase his talent at another level. And sometimes those things are things that change the mindset of some of the coaches from staying at the lower level.
and you know what, Kevin? Probably we
Mhm.
need some of the better coaches at the primary level.
I think we don't really
Probably.
have focused on the right aspect of our facing reality, I say, in terms of transitioning, because
Mm.
I think what you mean by transitioning is transitioning from high school football to maybe club football, or maybe even transitioning overseas and playing semi-pro into professional football. And I think when it comes to that, in terms of the JFF, the education board, everybody should, the focus on high school football is too high. It's too high.
Mhm,
And as an high
mhm.
school football should be like, yes, it should be fun. But if we want our football to move forward, the focus should be on club and community football. That way we can, the high school football should be something of a side hustle for these young players, right? Let me go to play them from a high school and win this championship for them. But the focus should be on club football, locality, like we were talking about earlier in terms of your parishes. That way, you have, because high school footballers, as you rightly said earlier, the coaches just get paid for win, right? But if you have a coach at a club within a particular community or a particular parish that get paid and developing young budding talents to either play for the senior team in that club or even get scouts come look for them go overseas and play abroad. If we get the focus on that aspect of it, I used to play under 21 for Tivoli, right? Back as soon as we finish with high school. But I think that gets scrapped, right? Put the focus back on that area of young developing football and not just rely on high school football to identify one or two talents. And then hopefully that's where we can start building in terms of grassroots.
Right. And she's also making a point that many times we talk about sponsorship, and we think it is a monetary thing, where sponsors can also come in other forms. And it's now time for us to look beyond that. In terms of that, I think more so though, facing reality. One of the key ingredient of sponsorship that we need here in Jamaica is money. We need the money. So I mean, to develop football in Jamaica, yes, we're gonna need the money. We're gonna need the funds. We're gonna need the sponsorship monetarily, because if that doesn't come forward,
looking a bit deeper into probably the point she's making. All right, fine. So let's say we are running a camp. We could approach a company and say, look, can you, instead of giving us cash, can you donate food
yeah,
to
man.
help with this? Can you give us some water? Can you give us radiation fluid? Can you give us some balls? Can you give us cones? You know, so there are. I think I understand where she's coming from as
Yeah,
it
man.
relates to.
I understand that point too, coach. But at the end of the day, all this takes money.
Right, but
We're not getting the money directly, but these companies would have to write off those as we call those, that thing again, that fancy name thing. They'd have to write it off as that. So it takes money. It would be a part of them writing up their budget. So it is indeed a good point, which I agree with. But right now, development that we need in football takes money, because the first thing what we are going to need to do is develop the field of play. The parks need to be sorted out. And if we go to a farm that does grass and we ask them to donate, it will cost them to donate those that patch of grass. So
But
yeah,
here's the
man,
thing about that though.
but we really need money.
Here's the flip side of that now. Because from a business perspective, you can't really go to a man running business and say, hey, did you say, more you give me a certain amount of money and promote your name as a, in terms of running off a football program, but you don't have a plan of where you're going to use that money to do. You understand? You can't just go to jail and say, all right, give me a couple mil, but you don't have a detailed plan as where this couple mil is going to go to. And right now, it doesn't seem that management has a plan or even an idea as to what they want to do with if they get funding. Like you don't know how much money I get from the Saudi Arabians once and give you, and how far you can stretch a team or what you can do for it. Doesn't say to me that you guys know what you're doing when it comes to managing your money and managing your business. So looking for sponsorship to get a certain amount of money, you have to tell them where you want the money for, right? I for one feel like when you ask for sponsorship, it can only be for monetary purposes. I don't know what other purpose you could ask for sponsorship for, because it's two ways. You give me money and me promote your business. That's how it's supposed to work. There's no other, there's nothing else in that agreement, is there?
True. Some very solid points are being made here, and in all, like I said earlier, if we're going to think about development, we have to be strategic, put in place some strategic planning in terms of try to highlight some of the most important areas of development. Get the coaches at the primary level possible trained. Get them a C license, or if as far as a B license, and also development of some critical areas like the field of play. Identify some areas, some lands that are not being used, and try to develop a few parks, and those are only going to be used for grassroots training, grassroots competition, or whatever the case may be. So it's gonna take a lot, but for me, what I noticed with Jamaica, we just want a quick fix, and right off the bat, you go to the wicket, T20 style, you just swing the bat, and we should expect the results right away, and that is not the case. But
You know what?
hold on there, fourth official. What we are saying, though, you know, because if we look at the flip side of it, for the past few years, or we could extend it to a decade, given the harsh reality that we're currently in, we have been developing players, and players have been exported outside of the country. So, though I don't want persons to get me wrong that is not happening. However, it could be happening more in sense of a more systematic approach and a more stable way. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna say is I was looking at the comments, and as a facing reality had mentioned that she's talking about like the well-being and growth of players, and I started to think like maybe she could be onto something. Maybe not necessarily the relationship between sponsor and the sponsee, for want of a better phrase, but if you think of companies hypothetically like Herbalife, right? Herbalife is all about natural
Right.
health and that kind of stuff. If you get a sponsor like Herbalife to not only provide money but to provide health practices, proper health practices for individuals, then that might, extend someone's playing career. Not only are you promoting Herbalife, but you're also promoting health, within the team, proper health practices. So I can see where she's coming from in that regard. But in essence, all of that come from being a sponsor per se. Is to as that it just depends on how far you take um that sponsorship and run with it. I just feel like as an individual with a business that looking for investment, and I go to someone asking them, I need you to invest in my business. Not only am I going to go and tell them what my business is, but I need to give them a detailed plan as to what I do the money for. You understand? And
Right.
I don't think that Jamaica has our federation right now has any sort of capacity to identify and detail what they need, when they need it, how they need it, why they need it.
Yeah, because once you're approaching a business, you have to come with a very solid proposal to these business entities on how you're going to sort out the running or the operation of whatever you're interested in getting from them.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get funds from me, you're gonna have to tell me how you're going to go about using those funds. And there you need somebody who is business savvy again to write a proposal that will invite or entice the company to get on board, because the points made in this proposal are irresistible, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it is important. Welcome to Andre Williams. He's saying that Phoenix and Mount Pleasant Academy are ahead in terms of developing talents. Yeah, they're ahead, but when you look at a Harbour View, a Cavalier, to some extent, a Portmore United, they have been developing talents as well. A lot of the Cavalier players would have gone overseas. A lot of Harbour View players. So, I mean, each club would have had their fair share of exporting players. So, yeah, those two might be ahead, but it doesn't negate from the fact that other clubs would have been setting the trend in terms of exporting players. All right, and we'll share another comment. Facing reality again, she's on fire today. People, please go and check out Facing Reality YouTube channel. If you're down, if you're feeling down in a day, or you need some motivation, you can go and check out that channel. She will inspire you to win. All right. She's saying, I also think that we should get to the place where all coaches for every and any sports should be trained and certified. That is true, because oftentimes, but I think some a policy like that was already implemented, where at certain level you should have a certain level of qualification. So I think that is in place. More so, facing reality, the um grassroots level is the issue, because someone who used to play football or who have been around football, they just go in, the community rate them, and them just start do the thing vicariously. So no structure is there. A man just go today and just decides that him going to deal with and all of that. So, I mean, good point, but I think that has already been on board, and and it is something that should be enforced at the lower level. All right, for persons who are just joining in, we have an interview coming up tomorrow again. I want you to put it in your notification. At 1 o'clock, we'll be talking to former assistant coach to the Reggae Boys, Miguel Coley. He will be joining us on set tomorrow. We'll be talking some football, Reggae Boys, what he's doing over there, where he's actually doing some coaching. So stay tuned for that interview tomorrow. All right, we see Damian McGregor. He's sending shout out from St. Lucia. And Jay Ellis. What Jay Ellis is saying, the problem is the players that play in the country is not professionals. And also some of those that go overseas don't make a good showing of themselves. That's a very good point. But we are basically not in...
Define professionals. Ask him for what you mean by define professionals. Ask him to define professionals. Really. What you mean by professionals? Because that word is kind of broad and have a bunch of connotations.
Jay Ellis, fourth official is asking you to define professional. What is your definition of professional? But I think it's pretty straightforward. Or persons or footballers are not really professionals. They are not in a professional league. Our league is not professional. So I mean, they are not going to act part.
So that goes to show that the league is not professional, and these man cannot. You can't say these guys are not professional then because they're not in a professional league. You have to remember, playing football in Jamaica at this point in time cannot be seen as a career. A lot of the money that these men are getting from the clubs is not necessarily enough for them to live comfortably. You understand? If you compare that to people who are playing football overseas as a profession, as a career, these men are making a crap ton of money. So they are required and expected to be at a certain health in terms of how you carry yourself and be professional. But if you're saying these men are not professional because they're not committed to the game and they're not doing everything they can to become the best in what they are in the game, there's an argument to be made. But if you say they're not professional because they're not in the sense of the word professional, meaning being, in and around the game and focused only on the game. Life in Jamaica doesn't allow you to do that. You understand? You play for Harborview, and you go training every day, but the money you get not necessarily enough for put food on your table for your family or whatnot, right? So that's why I'm gonna ask what exactly is he thinking, and what exactly him thinking is when it comes to being professional.
Yeah, Jay Ellis. Don't think that fourth official doesn't know the meaning of the word, He basically want to get the point that you are trying to make. What is professional in your definition, in terms of the statement that you made?
Right.
All right. So, yeah, we don't have a professional league, so I think we're expecting too much from the players, because we know that once you have play football for a living. But I mean, a lot of these players, when it is off season, it's very difficult on them, and some of them have to be doing other jobs to ensure that, like you said, their families are taken care of.
Yeah.
So our league is not one that is set up to a player basically can maintain himself and his family.
Kevin and fourth official. We spoke yesterday as well on this in short, but sometimes I think we are unfair. I'm not saying we generalizing here. I think we are unfair to our local players, you know. And I think until people understand some of the conditions, some of the conditions that these players or local players are exposed to and have to operate in and play in, week out, then we will probably stop knocking them so hard. And a lot of
Yeah.
times we cuss them, we chastise them, and we compare, and we're bold enough to sometimes compare them to Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, you know, and Ramos and Suarez and all them guys. You know, we're bold enough to do that. When those guys are able to put invest in a home gym, buy them own equipment. Some clubs in Jamaica don't even have a gym in a gym.
Real talk.
So when you look at that, some of
True.
these players overseas have their sponsors, and they're getting two, three, four, 6 pairs of shoes per season. Some of them even getting more. A player out here, is just coming off a 8 hour shift, a security work, or a
Mm-hmm.
job at the wholesale, or on a construction site, and him go on to training.
And that's why
No,
I said the
when he
expectation is too high on these players.
And that's
when
exactly
he
why
works, Kevin, like this,
Mm-hmm.
how many weeks can this player go?
Okay,
How
man.
well can this player perform at optimum each week he touches the field? So these are some of the realities that our players have to face. These players are getting 50, 70, $90,000 a week, a month to play Premier League football. So if we're asking for professionalism from persons who are being treated unprofessionally, it's a no-no. We're not going to get that.
True.
The motivation says a lot in football.
Yeah,
But when
man.
you're paying, when a footballer is well paid, his family is being well taken care of by himself because he's well paid. There are NHE benefits and everything is covered. And Kevin, I asked you the question yesterday. Our Premier League players that played in the 90s, how many of them can take care of themselves financially now?
Big
Not a lot.
question. Big
So
question.
whilst we have issues and we bash the local players and we bash this and bash that, hey, these guys are not living the easiest life here.
Yeah, and you touch a point there, no, coach, because you see, I think it goes across sports. You see, when athletes are comfortable, they don't have any unnecessary things on their mind. They will, especially when it comes on to finances, they will work, they will play football. When I look at a setup like a Mount Pleasant, these players don't have to worry about at the end of the month where they're going to be getting their money, you know, because they know that at the end of the month, money has already been wired in their account. So you're right on that point where um I think we are being too tough on them, but at the same time, it's because of expectation. And because we watch so much leagues outside of Jamaica, then we try to compare them, which should not be happening because Jamaica's football is nowhere near professional. You understand? So good point there, Coach Thomas. He seemed to be having some issues there with his internet. Jay Ellis is back at it again. Yeah, many players start out 9 to 5, but even if they quit the 9 to 5 and go to playing the football, with more than likely some of them will go back to the 9 to 5, especially when if the team doesn't perform and they're relegated. Money have to make, as they would say. It's tough. It's tough living off football in Jamaica. Very, very. if we can get these players at a level and export them before they reach a certain age, that's the best thing to go.
I
We
guess
still
the
have
best.
we still have a league. We still have a league, but probably we don't have the elite players playing in the league.
Yeah, I guess the best way to judge our players, whether they're professional or not, is when you give them the tools to be professional. So like man like Baby Gardner, I think back when Baby Gardner left and go Bolton, the career where him have a Bolton, right? Him they have that type of career because he developed into a professional, not just a professional footballer, but a
Him leave
professional in
early.
terms, right? Him leave early and him have a team around him and him never just see the money and start decide to flaunt it all over England, right? Him decide to build himself, maintain himself, and have a decent career in England, regardless of all of the same. So the point that what I'm trying to say to Ellis is, to say these men are not professional is kind of disingenuous because you have to give them professional, you know, environment for them to thrive. You understand? To say you need them in a particular ilk when you're not providing that vehicle for them to do so, it never gonna work out. This is not making excuses for all of the talents that we had in the country that didn't make it, that could have made it, and it was because of them own personal, you know, attributes why they never make it. Those guys, in a sense, you can say it's not necessarily professional. If you're talking, that's why I'm asking what you mean. Like, are you talking about all of the ballers that come through the country that could have made something of themselves, but because of other influences or because of their own personal relation or the way they are, they never make it? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about, you know, the word itself, this in every sense meaning professional?
When you look Rome at a Premier League game, it might not happen so often there, but more so the schoolboy football.
Mm.
Halftime break, coach wanting to talk to his team, and you hear a myriad of comments coming from all over the place. Because
Yeah.
what? There's not a proper dressing room where the players can go in, sit down, out of the buzz of the crowd, and talk to the players, talk to your team. You hear this
Yeah.
man and say, even a whisper
Take
and
him
a
off and
player
bring him on.
hear
Exactly.
all of them something there. Coach, you need
Yeah.
to change this man. Coach, you need to take off. Coach, you not see him now. And it is so annoying.
Real thing, man.
Annoying. So we don't have the professional setup. So you don't expect the players to behave, to act the part. And sometimes I wonder, some of these players going overseas, especially, do we have any training session for these youngsters? And I'm not talking about the physical ball handling skill and all of those things. Do we have a seminar with them how to cope in Europe, how to this, how to that, how to operate in a professional environment, in a professional setting? Because we need these things to happen, you know, because the youngsters, them all go out there, they are young, you know, and they will make mistakes. But the guidance should be given to them by whoever, their agent, advisors, whatever, persons who are quite au fait to what is happening in the football world.
The biggest
Do you
thing is
believe?
the Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, coach, do you believe in Rome? Do you believe that stuff like this should be happening? Even if we don't have the setting, but I mean, some seminars, some coaching seminars to run that will tap into the whole psyche of the player, the mindset, all of that, going about getting things in proper order, so that when they reach Europe, they won't make the silly mistakes.
I don't know if you guys remember the last time we had a conversation, similar to this. We were talking about the two young ballers that were either they were already over to the United States or on the way there. I'm saying what I was saying is the biggest challenge that they'll have is making sure that when they get there, they have a plan for them so that they don't stray. And I think the coach had mentioned that the two clubs that they're coming from have a decent system and a decent team around them. And that is essentially what you need. You need people who are already in the know to provide them with that kind of information. That means when you move to a club in England and you sign a big sign-on bonus, and all of a sudden, instead of you will get 20 grand at Jamaica for play one match or 10 grand or whatnot, right? For play a game, you get £20,000 a week just to go training. You understand what I say? You see the massive difference? So when the money start coming and the money eyes start wide open up now, who is there or what mechanisms are there to let them know? Say, yo, all of that 20 grand we have to get on a site going, because somebody go get taxed, right? You still have a majority of everything you have must come on credit, so you still have to pay off all of that. Footballers don't automatically become rich, right? Which is why
Oh,
when you look at a man like Ronaldo not rich because I'm contracts when you sign and the millions of money when you get it. Ronaldo and
endorsement.
Beckham rich because of the endorsement, which is why man like Anthony Martial, I think, was struggling earlier because he never have a boot, he never have an endorsement, he never have nothing going on for him at one point in the career this year, right? And that thing they kind of linger upon ballers, upon athletes, in terms of what's happening outside. The endorsements are what make you. Pogba, I got Adidas endorsements all the way. He own a boots by himself, bro. You understand? That
Yeah.
is what build the player. So who's there to put that information into them head? Who's there for educate them on those kind of stuff? That's what we're
Image
looking for.
rights and all of those things.
Exactly.
So these are some critical. I think Jay Ellis is directing this one to Rome.
I'm not comparing Jamaica to the next leagues, but I'm saying is that what I'm saying is the way most player carry himself. Okay. Well, so are we talking about something of your opinion, or are you saying this is what's happening across the entire island of Jamaica in terms of? I don't know. I'm not in the know, but obviously that in essence explains your point, which means they're not professional. Because if a man say he want to play football and him not carry himself properly in terms of taking care of your body, going to training, that's definitely unprofessional, right? So that makes sense. That's why I'm asking if you explain what you mean, because that in essence I come from high school days. You have the one track athlete where feel like saying too good, so I'm not go training. You understand? That comes from your inward motivation, right? Ronaldo never just born the World Cup, the greatest player in the world, right? Take for instance, for example, Neymar. Neymar have every single attribute to be the best thing we ever seen in football. But does he seem like he wants to be? Or does it seem like Ronaldo wants to be, which is why Ronaldo, to this day at 36, is still pushing and still being the best player in the world, right? Because it's the work, the talent really kicks you here. It's the hard work and dedication that carry you all the way up here. So I get what you're
Well
saying,
said.
bro.
Well said. Talent alone now gonna bring it away. And most times, the ones that are talented sometimes are the laziest.
Exactly.
So they have to work extra hard in order to reach to the top and beyond the top. So
Add something before you go, Kevin.
yeah, man.
And you see, I'm not talking JL specifically, but just generally speaking again. You see, in Jamaica, we do a lot of pointing and we attack these players. But I just love if some of the stakeholders, some personnel could just for 20 minutes walk in the shoes of some of these footballers. Just 20 minutes. Then you have an idea why some of these things are some of these boys are young athletes are carrying themselves the way they do and they behave the way they do and all of that. It's hard to be motivated for something when you don't have a lot to stand on. It's one of the hardest thing. And yes, tell me that I must have ambition, and tell me that I see people making millions of dollars, and tell me that I see this, and tell me that I see that. But people work differently, and we must understand that what our players or our young footballers are exposed in Jamaica. And have some of the easiest condition. Some of these boys cannot even find food and then go home to eat. Some of them can't find the fear to go back to training. A lot of these clubs sometimes owe these players more than half of them salary at the end of the month. And light bill must pay, water rate must pay. And some of these youth have kids going to school. So I would love some persons just try and adapt one, try and help one. Find out what is going on with one, help that one, and then you will understand fully what is really going on. Easy to stay outside the ring and say thump him, there's a uppercut round, there's a this and that, but put on the gloves, go inside the ring, and you wouldn't last a second. I'm telling you.
Yes, yes, coach. Very, very good point, because sometimes fans are the ones who speak as if they know the ins and outs. Some do, not taking anything away from them. Some do, but oftentimes they speak as if they are actually the coaches. They're actually, and if you give them some of them the opportunity, they run left it. So that's a very solid point made there, coach. Yeah, because these players, and in Jamaica again, we never have the ideal situation. Whether we do any sport, if you notice, most times we improvise. We're never in the ideal situation. Doesn't matter how fast we are, doesn't matter how brilliant we can bat and bowl. We are never in the ideal situation. So that speaks volume. And that's why I made the point earlier, coach. You see, although we're talking about the issues of the whole development of players and all of that, we still have to lift our hats to clubs over the years, and I put it to a decade, who have gone ahead and export players playing in North America, playing in Scandinavia, European League, and all of that. So we
And
still have to
Kevin,
lift our hats off to them.
let me not cut you, but let me just say something here. And Ruro probably can attest to this because he would have played football locally, so he understands exactly what I'm about to say. Some of these coaches that we have in Jamaica in a Virgin are to be we should be taking off our hats to them. We should be taking off our hats to them because some of the conditions that these coaches have to work on, it is awful if you see it. But yet still again, we bash our coaches, them this, them that, them no. Yo, some of these coaches are left by themselves to be going inside their own pockets. And we might say to them, find past student, find this, get companies, get whatever. It's not the easiest thing, Virgin.
Sometimes
You're in a
coaches are
school,
the managerial work too, when them feel
right?
concentrate on coaching.
You're in a school in the rural area. Now you have rural urban migration taking place. And most of the past students there would have gone into other areas to work. It is going to be hard to even galvanize support for your school. And your salary that you are getting is going back into the program. When you play Dakar or Manning Cup?
Manning Cup.
Dakar Cup.
No, Manning Cup.
How
Manning
many
Cup.
times your coach had to be digging into
Manning
his
Cup,
pocket to run a camp?
Manning Cup.
Manning Cup.
Yeah.
Which school was that?
Over Oberlin High.
Which one?
Oberlin High.
Oberlin.
Okay. Well, all right. So how many times you'd have seen your coach probably want to start camp early but can't start it?
For the entire
Or probably
program.
would have to end camp early.
It was for the entire program. A lot of everything we
It's
will
sad.
have.
I know the feel you guys play football on.
Yeah.
I know the feel, Ro, you guys play football on. And when you look at that field, you really wonder how on God's earth you play football here. And people come and stand up and cuss you guys, sound not good and this and that in a virgin. And if you should compare probably you at the age of 16 to a guy in somewhere else in the world, probably you'll be on par with him talent wise. But seeing him playing on his surface and you playing on your surface, a scout would walk away probably and leave you.
Yeah, bad display.
Without a
Got the
doubt.
surface
Amount of
bad.
miscontrols
Exactly.
and bad
Yeah,
passes they're making because of whatever. So we must take off our hearts to the coaches, Bridget, because they have. I'm a coach myself. I've been working for several years in Jamaica, different schools, coaching and stuff. And it is not easy, Bridget. It is not easy. Not you are left sometimes. You are running a program. Sometimes you have 22 boys and you alone around there, I do this and I do that. How efficient or effective a program like that can be? The school simply can't afford no more coach. Them can't they pay you much as they pay two more coach plus a
yeah.
physical trainer and a goalkeeper trainer.
And a physio.
So when we see coaches turn out talent and put teams together, people stop using the same ruler and compare them to Pep. You can't compare no coach in Jamaica to Pep and to Marin and him. You can't do that. It's unfair. Those
Unfair.
guys have a backroom
Ideal
staff
settings.
probably comprised of what? 20 or 30 people. Midfielder coaches, coach for defense, coach for attack, coach for throws. I've seen clubs with coaches for throws
Mm-hmm.
or for throw-ins. And we look at that in Jamaica, something simple. Throw-ins and corner kicks. Yeah, specialist coaches that goes around and get these things done. This is going on in Europe and other places. You have one coach over Oberlin. One with 60 odd boys to pick one squad at 22 together. 22 to get them together. Virgin, that's like suicide. So, Virgin, I empathize with my coaches. And I don't care. Sometimes people might say, yes, this is what, and no, the realities are different. We don't operate on the same level. We don't
And
operate
some
on the
and
same level.
some and then you have the elite coaches that are in Jamaica. Some of them operate on a different scale depending on the school that you're at, the money that is pumping into the system from an old boy association. So the comparison is really not to be done with overseas coaches or what they do, because what they do we might can do, but because of what we don't have, we cannot do it. So very, very big point that you're making, dear Coach Thomas. Coaches are sometimes ostracized, slandered by the spectators and all of that. Eat that coach, call them all sort of names. But they don't stop and check the realities that the coaches are actually in. What they have to do, the sacrifices that they make. I'm sure that Rome was the captain of his team, so he knew what his coach did in order to get things done, uh, fighting all odds. Because sometimes some of the schools, the headmistress or headmasters, they're not interested in the sport. But to give a kid an opportunity, the coaches brave the weather, brave the storms to ensure that a kid like Rome got an opportunity. Now he got a scholarship to go overseas and all of that, played football semi-professionally. So, I mean, if the coach didn't weather that storm, probably the fourth official would not be here right now.
I tell you, everything was a startup for us. It's just the coach himself put everything together for our program. The school never put nothing towards our program, right? So everything, as the gentleman was saying a second ago, is the sacrifices made by these coaches to be involved in the program, right? To put their own funds, their own resources within the program to get certain things started. And so if it wasn't for that, a lot of us wouldn't even play a proper 1 season, 2 seasons in a Manning Cup, right? Everything come, not the other thing come from the school was the name. You understand? And the location.
Yeah,
If you see Upa, we have normally Upa we have PE, and the field we have PE. You couldn't invite anyone down there say they want to play football. There's nothing but dirt all the way up and couple holes in I make. But I have to go somewhere else in the community to play home games, right? But it was a tough. It was tough, and I knew exactly how you feel. Even stepping back a little bit to when, as you tell him, we used to play for Constant Spring as and the junior team for Constant Spring couldn't go training. I don't know if you remember this coach who used to coach Calabar and he used to coach Medhaven named Waga, and he used to coach the under 20 under 21 team, the Jamaica. When Waga they want to come play for the Medhaven team, it's because that game we play against Calabar. And we play against Calabar, and Calabar white the floor with we. I think we scored 2 goals in that game. Then lose like about 8-2 or something like that, right? And we got invited to come play for him team, to come and maybe come play for him junior team. And there was just no way a youth like me, living at the hills at St. Andrew, I gonna have money every day for go training in a Medhaven and Mega Kingston. You understand? If we go find Medhaven, if we go train every evening. There was just no way I'm gonna do that. I will never do that. And so those are some of the opportunities that we miss as a nation for young budding players who want to play ball, who want to develop, right? Who you're not gonna be able to develop because you play with your uncle every Sunday or every Saturday evening. You understand? That can only introduce you to the game. You need a team, you need structure. High school football and like because high school football, if you think about it, all I'm tell you if you do, this you get the ball, kick it over the top, and hopefully your forward can do something about it. You understand? That's the type of football. I'm not teach you what going through, playing through your middle, using the midfield, using the flanks and stuff like that. Yeah, you get them opportunity there with high school football. High school football is just mostly if you have a young talent in your midfield, you give him the ball. Or if you have him up front, you give him the ball. That's basically it.
Yeah.
So I agree with everything I say, man.
Yeah, man. And Shimel Aiken commented that if you ask many of these old boys and girls who what they have done for the program, they probably can't tell you, but yet they come and cry the most and talk about this player not good and the coach this and the coach that.
Yeah.
So I mean, our reality in Jamaica is totally different, and oftentimes we make comparison, but I think we're not being fair. At the end of the day, we're not being fair in making those comparisons with personals who are in a better place than we are. So yeah, I think this is where we're gonna lift the lid and pull the curtains down today. We're gonna get some rest and prepare for tomorrow again, because of course we'll be having Coach Miguel Coley live with us here on Coach's Desk. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, football fans, youngsters,
girlfriends to watch Valentine's Day. Watch the Coach's Desk on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, man. We are doing early Valentine. Remember, we have a curfew of 8 o'clock. So
if man named desperate, link up your ex. Do whatever you need to do. Do whatever you need to do if you're desperate. Yeah.
Just tell a friend to tell a friend that Coach's Desk will be having Miguel Coley. So you and your spouse can sit down Valentine style and listen to some football. You know what I mean?
And jump over to the Foot Official YouTube channel. Manchester United fans, even Liverpool fans like facing reality. You can come. We have something for you too. We like laugh off of Liverpool people. So jump and subscribe for it, man.
So you hear that, people? The Fourth Official. Check it out on YouTube. Yeah, man. The man talk everything Manchester United. Under 23s, females, academy, and even the B team man talk about.
Everything.
So if you're a Man U fan, or if you want to know about Manchester United, you hear about the club and you wonder why they always talk about that club there, just go check out the Fourth Official. Hit a subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yeah.
To go and subscribe to it. And also remember, you can, if you're new to this stream, Coach's Desk, just run on over, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss the notifications, because the big notification will be coming up tomorrow with Miguel Coley, so you can't afford to miss that. So we're gonna have a wonderful time tomorrow, God's willing, on the Sunday afternoon, chatting to Coach Coley. He's currently in Asia. So we're gonna be hearing more. I'm not gonna give away any more information. Come join tomorrow and come with your questions also, because you will be given the opportunity to throw questions at Coach Coley. This is the Coach's Desk, people, and what we do over here is to talk sports, football, cricket, track and field. More so, we'll be talking football, because you don't know that's our passion. Track and field also, you'll be getting a lot of that too. So big up yourselves, people. Thank you again for tuning in. And please remember to go check out Facing Reality. If you want to be motivated, if you want to know how to win in life, go and check out Facing Reality. Big bad channel. Kill you with motivation. Or leave you with motivation.
Yes. Support the Run Club.
Yeah, that's the only problem. That's the only problem. Yeah. She's on the Liverpool side. She's on the Liverpool side, you know what I mean? But of course, we want to big up to the ladies, them, and she's one of them always supporting Coaches Desk. So of course, we have to give a shout out to Facing Reality. So if you want to be motivated, if you want to be calm throughout the day, if you want to learn some new positive thoughts, positive stuff, if you want to change your life positively, and you want some motivation to inspire you, just go check out Facing Reality. And please remember, don't forget the fourth official Manchester United fan. Big up yourself. Rome, thank you very much for coming through. Also, big up Coach Thomas. And we had
amazing goal in the too.
Amazing goal. Yeah. Big up yourself, amazing goal. And remember, come if you want to write down a question tomorrow, just write it down. Yeah, man. Anything you want to ask Miguel Cole. Yeah, man. Big up yourself. Rome, we're out.
Manas.